everybody. Welcome to episode 14 of the Never Split Up podcast. My name's Nolan. I'm here with Anthony. How you doing today?
Good. Excited to talk about some Bloody Valentine.
Yes, welcome to the My Bloody Valentine episode. And happy Valentine's Day. This is going to be released, I guess, a week before Valentine's Day, but we wanted to get it out for you guys so you had time to listen and watch and get in the holiday spirit. So we're this is the original 1981 My Bloody Valentine that we're covering today, and it should be a fun one. This is a fun little 80s slasher. I know that's right in your sweet spot, Anthony.
Yeah, I love my slashers, and the 80s had plenty of them.
Oh yeah, I mean that's to me. I mean, as a horror fan, 80s and slashers are just they go hand in hand. I mean,
Yep.
when I think of
They
80s,
really
I think of slashers,
capitalized.
and when I
Yeah,
think
they
of slashers, I
capitalized on
think
that
of the
Halloween
80s.
shit. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
this was
There's no way to
again.
celebrate. Yeah, there's no way to celebrate Valentine's Day than with some bloody kills.
Yeah, this one was released early 80s, so 1981. So it was that wave right after Halloween was released, the success of Halloween and Halloween 2. You had these wave of slashers that I guess tried to capitalize on doing like holiday themed horror slashers in the wake of Halloween. So we have this one on Valentine's Day. You have others like Friday the 13th is a specific date, and yeah, there was a big wave of this, but right now we're just going to focus on My Bloody Valentine. Do you want to go through the cast and crew and all that real quick?
I mean, no to the cast, but I'll do a little synopsis and give you the director because the cast is like really irrelevant. The characters are more
Yeah,
relevant than the cast.
yeah.
This is an 80s horror movie, guys. You know, the acting isn't good, but that's what you expect from 80s. It's supposed, that's the goal of these movies. It's not meant to be taken like cinema. They're fun 80s knockoff horror slashers that are taking advantage of the popularity of Halloween and Friday the 13th. But I would have mentioned the director because I had watched it on my Scream Factory Blu-ray, and he did a little intro because he's very happy that they were able to restore the footage to make this the uncut version. Because if you guys don't know, when this was released in '81, the MPAA, the Motion Picture Association of America, they really butchered this one, and they made them delete and cut 9 minutes of footage, which pretty much included all of the kills. So it was pretty lame that they did that to them. So he was able to find some of the footage, and he said it's almost the movie that I originally intended. So he's very happy, and he thanked Scream Factory for releasing it. So yeah, George Mihalka, he's the director, and the writer is Stephen A. Miller. Like you said, it came out in 1981, and we have a shit ton of characters, but they're all, besides our main trio, they're all pretty much just there to be victims, which is exactly what I want from this kind of movie. So I'm fine with it. And I'll
Hmm.
give you a synopsis, but it's called My Bloody Valentine for a reason. It's surrounding a deranged killer who went on a murdering spree on Valentine's Day 20 years prior, and 20 years later, killings start again, and they cancel the Valentine's Day dance. But we have teens who want to have their own party, so chaos ensues. Very simple, straight to the point, gets to the nitty gritty. Nice, quick, and sweet slasher movie.
Hmm. And you mentioned the original killer, Harry Warden. I always love that name. I always thought that was a
Yes.
cool
Yes.
killer name. I don't know why Harry Warden. That's cool. I have
Yeah, Harry Warden, that definitely goes. He sounds like a killer, Harry Warden.
yeah, yeah. I have I guess we'll get into our overall thoughts. I'll go first. I do have a couple things about this movie I want to point out. I'm glad you mentioned the director because I think this movie, and again, like you said, this movie is not really meant to be taken seriously. You just throw it on around the holiday, like maybe when you're decorating for a Valentine's party, or you're doing. Well, I don't even know if people have Valentine's, but I don't know, whatever. I feel like that's just exclusive to that movie. I've never heard of a Valentine's party. Like
I
maybe in
think there's been
elementary
people who
school we
have
had
Valentine. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
like
shit
a
like that.
dance, but
There's been probably
yeah,
even Valentine's dances in some high schools here and there, but who
yeah.
knows?
I think
These
that
people aren't even
the
in high school anymore. Yeah,
I think the
yeah,
reasoning is that isn't the town called
yeah. Valentine's Bluff or
Valentine
Valentine
Bluffs.
Bluffs.
So
Yeah, I
I
love that.
appreciate that. Yeah.
I love that.
I think it makes it it's a little touch, but it makes it believable that they would like care about Valentine's Day so much because they're named after
Yeah,
the
it's the
holiday.
town's
So
known
it
for a
made
tradition.
it
It's been a
more, yeah,
tradition forever. Yeah.
believable. But as I was saying, I think this movie has all the ingredients to be a really great slasher, but I think it's just not cooked right, if I'm going to stick with the analogy. And I think part of that is the direction. And I wish there was a little bit better direction in this movie. But again, this is still a lot of fun. The highlights of this movie are the kills. I love all the kills. And if you're not watching the extended version, I guess they call it, that include all the kills, I mean,
Yeah, uncut.
I
Uncut.
understand why this movie wasn't received well without those because like it's not my bloody Valentine, it's just my Valentine at that point. Like there's no blood, you know. And all the practical effects were like super 80s but super cool. With the eyeballs and stuff and the punctures through the skin and that's just a lot of fun. I like all that stuff. So this movie definitely is a fun watch, but uh you know, comparing it to others like people will compare this to Friday the 13th a lot. Friday the 13th does some stuff that this movie could have done better. So I think this movie suffers from that, and that's why it's not as big as Friday the 13th, and it ended up not getting any sequels either. There was a remake that was done, but it's not as big of a franchise, I think, because I don't want to spoil too much until we get into it, but it just doesn't handle the great premise and the great ingredients all that well, if that makes sense. Kind of doesn't execute on them. So, yeah, those are my thoughts.
Okay, cool. I'll just get into mine before we get into the actual plot of the movie. I don't want to say that this movie is not meant to be taken seriously. I think the better for me, it's more like this movie is not trying to be anything other than what it is, which is just a straightforward 80s slasher movie that just wants to have fun and wants you to have fun, and there's nothing wrong with that. I also it's just my 80s horror sweet spot. I think it's one of the better early 80s horror, and I don't think we'd even mentioned yet, but I love the miner design and I love the miner killer outfit design. He's a cool slasher to me. It's one that stands out, especially in the 80s compared to the others that we get, in the following years that we'll eventually get to. But yeah, this movie sticks out to me. Um, I also, if you know me, I mean, you've heard on a couple of the episodes by now, I'm a big Scream guy, so I like the whodunit aspect, and we get that in this movie, especially in the third act. We get a little bit of a whodunit going.
Hmm.
So I appreciated that. And I think the direction is there's a couple set pieces that are pretty awesome. So I was fine with the direction. I mean, there's corny scenes in this, but I mean, it's a Valentine's Day movie, so I've give a pass with the sappy scenes. But I think the third act is pretty great, which is really holds this movie up compared to other ones. So I love the second half of this movie. Yeah, I have a good time with it. It's more of my upper tier for 80s slashers. This one, it's great, and I cannot wait till we get into the remake because I like watching these two back to back. So that'll be good conversation.
Awesome. Yeah, I definitely agree. The second half of this movie, especially the third act when they're in the mine, is so cool.
It's
That's
such a
definitely
cool
a great
setting.
set
The
piece.
mine
Yeah.
setting is awesome.
Yeah, all that is great. The design is great, and that's what I'm talking about. It has all the ingredients, but I just wish it was executed a little better. So we'll get into it more. Like I'll have more specific details when we do
Yeah.
the overall review. But I can't. Like I said, it's still a fun movie, guys. If you
Hell
haven't
yeah.
watched it, definitely check it out. The kills are a lot of fun, and it's just like you said, all these characters are meant to die, and you know that from
And
the
that's fine.
beginning.
That's fine with me.
And
They took the
it's
formula of a Friday the 13th movie and like put it in this
yeah,
with the characters.
yeah,
And it doesn't live up to Friday the 13th or Halloween, but like what other slashers really do from the 70s and 80s. So that those are the two big ones, along with like
hmm
Nightmare and, well, in my opinion, Child's Play. But
yeah,
uh,
yeah. I agree with you, but I guess my point is this movie had so much potential to be on that level and to have a franchise like Friday the 13th and like Halloween and Nightmare on Elm Street. Maybe not, but close. You know what I mean? Because they
yeah, I know what
have
you're saying.
Harry Warden, they have the ingredient, like they have the costume design, and I just feel like it kind of fell short a little bit. So, I mean, we'll get into spoilers now. I didn't want to get into spoilers
Yeah.
right away in case anyone hasn't watched it yet, but this is the spoiler part of the show. Definitely pause it and go watch it if you don't want to get spoiled. But
If
we'll
you're in
just
the
get
mood
into
for a
it. And
fun horror slasher from the '80s, just check this one out. It's gonna be a fun time. It's not gonna be the best thing you ever saw, but you'll get a few chuckles and you'll get a few cool kills and you'll get a cool minor
mhm,
slasher villain. And and I also like you said, I like the holiday horror theme. So this is like a sweet spot for me. I like when they have all the Valentine's decorations up. It gets me in the vibe of the season. And then when you get all the blood mixed in with the Valentines, with the notes, the hearts in the boxes, it's just it's I like that stuff with the holidays. I like when they mesh them together. So yeah, good time for me. It's a really good time, and I watch it every year.
really? Okay,
Yeah,
awesome.
on
you
Valentine's
have
week.
you have so many yearly
I do have
traditions.
yearly.
That's so funny. That's great. So yeah, again, this is going to be major spoilers. So here we go. We're going to do a deep dive. Let's get into it.
All right. All right, so yeah, so spoiler story now. Like, I mean, not that you wouldn't be able to be spoiled just by looking at the title. It's a killer who just kills people on Valentine's Day. But the opening scene, we have these two miners. They're seen walking out of the mine, and it's revealed that one of the miners is a woman. She takes off her mask, and one of them, the other miner, is obviously the killer. And then we get the kill. He impales her through her chest. Then we get the opening title. I like the opening title. Sequence. I don't know. I like how they did the bloody hearts with the O's and
Mhm.
bloody. I don't know. I like that stuff like that just gets me.
Yeah, this was. I think this was a solid first kill. This was a good opening. That you have the
Yes.
he pushes her back into
Yep.
the pick the pickaxe, I guess,
And
was
she
behind
has the
her.
heart tattoo on her
And
chest when they're like
yeah, and
hooking up. So it
it's
goes. Yeah.
it's breaking through her skin, but it's not broken through all the way. And then it cuts away, and then it does a close up, and it's like completely
Yeah.
torn through her skin. I thought that was pretty cool.
I really like the
And then it,
practical effects in this movie, and I'm happy that they were able to restore it because that would be a shame if we never got to see that all the actual kills.
yeah, definitely all the time and effort that it took to make those look
I mean,
cool.
and that's what makes the movie really, are the the
Hmm.
bloody kills and
Oh yeah,
the third act, in my opinion. The
that's what
setting,
those are the two things I remember. I remember the obviously the minor, the
right?
design. I remember the kills and that third act. Those are like, yeah, the three things you think of when you think of this movie.
Yeah, I love the setting of the mine. I'm surprised that more horror movies don't have like mine settings. It's really awesome. But yeah, so after that opening scene, we get introduced to a bunch of miners after their shift, and we're introduced to our main characters. I'm gonna say the main characters are the three. We have TJ. He is the mayor of the town's son, TJ Hanniger. We have Axel and we have Sarah. That's our main trio, in my opinion. They have a little love triangle going on throughout the movie. We have a
Hmm.
bunch of other characters that are their friends, but we'll eventually name drop them when we get to their sequences. But they're really
Yeah,
like I said, they're just characters that are
you
in
can.
the movie to
Yeah,
be killed.
we can just call them Victim One, Victim Two, Victim Three,
Like literally until like they shouted out their names, I'm
Comic
like, oh, I should
Relief
probably
One,
write down
Comic
their
Relief
name.
Two.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Like I should write down their name so we actually get when we get to the kills, I can name drop them. But other than that, they're just teens that are there to get slaughtered. Um, so we're introduced to Mayor Hanniger and Chief Newby. He's the head of the police, and we're like you said, it's the town is Valentine Bluffs. It's a Canadian mining town, and they're getting ready for their big Valentine's dance, and it's their first one in 20 years. And we find out, pretty soon why they haven't had one in 20 years. But the mayor and the chief, they receive an anonymous box of Valentine chocolates, but the chocolates contain a human heart and a note warning that murders will begin again if the dance proceeds. So
mm,
then we get right. I mean, it's pretty like cut and dry how they transition. Right after that, we go to the bar scene and we get the backstory about what happened 20 years ago, like typical exposition drop. But again, it's an '80s movie, so it can be sloppy like that. How they do it. So we find out the dance used to be a tradition, and the bartender. You said the bartender's name is Happy, right?
yeah. That's what it
So
says on Google.
yeah,
I don't.
it makes sense to me. Happy. I
Yeah.
exactly like we were saying that I didn't write down the names. I really wrote down bartender because I don't care enough about their names. But so Happy is telling the kids at the bar that the dance has stopped 20 years ago after an accident with when two supervisors left five miners so they can go attend the dance, and they forgot to check the gas levels in the mining tunnels, and then there was an explosion and it caused the tunnel to cave in and it trapped the miners down there. Harry Warden, who you named dropped earlier, he was one of the miners, and he ended up being the only survivor. But he had to like resort to cannibalism because he survived down there for like 6 weeks, and he went insane, obviously, from the situation. And then a year later, he murdered the two supervisors that left them to go to the dance, and he cut out their hearts and placed them in Valentine's candy boxes. And he left a note saying, to never hold a Valentine's Day dance again, or he will commit more killings. So then after that, he was placed in an insane asylum, and the accident was forgotten, and now the dance is going to resume because it's been 20 years. So they think that they can, get back to it. So that's the big backstory of the movie about what happened 20 years ago and
Mhm.
how everyone's scared that Harry Warner's going to come back because they're having a dance. But I thought that was it. I liked the backstory. I liked how they did the flashback. Um, I
Yeah,
would go insane if I were him too. If I were down
yeah.
there for 6 weeks. But I like that backstory. It's cool. It's typical for a horror movie, but I like, again, the mining setting helps it so much because that's terrifying if you're trapped down there like that. And of course, he had a resort to killing them. But I have no issues with it. Cool setup for the movie right there. Um, so then after that, I think Newbie and the mayor they go to the coroner with the heart that they get found in the box, and he has to confirm that it's a human heart, which is also hilarious. So he confirms it's a human heart, and the chief he says he's going to call and find out. If they want to know if Harry Warden escaped the asylum, if he's responsible for this killing. And I love how the coroner is like, "Well, I think you have your answer. There's the
Yeah.
heart in the box."
Yeah.
But we are introduced with Mabel, and I think that she and the chief they have a little like crush on each other. But she owns a laundromat, and she's our first kill after we get all that backstory. She's the first kill after the opening scene, and that's when we get the minor kill. He shows up at her laundromat and he leaves her Valentine's gift. And I love the note that he leaves. It's a what does it say? It's a oh I have it right here. Roses are red, violets are blue. One is dead, and so are you.
Yeah.
I love the little Valentines that he writes throughout the movie,
Yeah.
and I love this kill. I love first of all I love the pickaxe as the weapon mixed with the look of the miner. I think the pickaxe is a badass weapon. Um, so she gets killed, but we don't find her body yet. Her reveal of her body's pretty awesome. Um, So then after that scene, we cut over to a junkyard. I don't know why these kids are hanging out in junkyards in all these horror movies from the 80s, but they're hanging out in a junkyard. And then Axel and TJ, this is what we find out about like the history of TJ and Sarah, that they used to be a thing, but then TJ left the town, and now Axel and Sarah are together. So they kind of are already arguing over. I mean, it's typical relationship shit. Um, so then we cut to the next day. It's Friday the 13th, which is
Well,
pretty
this is
awesome.
when they first start to introduce, I guess,
The whole,
subliminally to the audience that it could be TJ. Who
yeah,
because,
well,
well,
because he left town,
they've
right?
already
We
set
didn't,
up the fact that he's left town, so now all of a sudden he's back in town and these
right,
killings start, so you're starting to
right.
be like, "Okay." And then they get that cool, POV shot in the junkyard with the creepy music,
Yes,
of you think it might be the miner stalking
yes,
the
like yeah,
group,
exactly.
like,
He's in
from
the
behind the
background. We
cars,
hear, yeah,
and
yep,
you hear the creepy music, and then it turns out to be TJ. So I thought that
yes,
was another filming technique of getting us to think that TJ's the miner.
right. Because that's when he approaches
The
Axel,
Axel.
right?
Yeah.
And I
So
like I
you
said,
kinda
that's what
have some
I
weird
like the
vibes.
whodunit aspect of it because I like those
Yeah.
kind of movies.
Yeah, I just don't think it was executed that well, especially
I
towards
think
the end of the movie,
that's
because they
another thing
kind of
that makes it have
eliminate.
an advantage over other slashers of the 80s. It's just one, the villain. It's just a villain who's killing people. So I like that this one just has you like, is it Harry Warden? Is it TJ? And then we have
Mhm.
another question later in the movie if it's someone else as well.
Yeah, I think it could
I
have been
like that.
handled better, honestly. I do like it too, and
Yeah, I think it
that's
was
why
fine enough.
I like the remake too, because the remake really goes heavy on the whodunit. But,
It,
not to get too ahead of myself, but, there are parts later on in the movie where you know it can't be TJ because TJ's accounted for. So I think they kind of spoil the whole whodunit aspect by the time we get to the final scenes.
I think they
And
pick it up again though in the end, where because you don't know if it could be Harry Warden and TJ. You don't
yeah,
know.
yeah, okay. Well,
But
yeah,
and
let's
it's
just keep
funny
going.
how
But
we'll get to the
that's how
remake
they.
eventually. But I
Uh,
love how in the remake they only have the whodunit between two people.
yes,
In this one, we have a third option eventually. Because in the remake, I mean, spoilers for that one, Harry Warden dies
hmm
after the opening scene.
Yeah, you
he
pretty
gets
much
killed.
know
Yeah,
Harry Warden's
yeah.
dead. I mean,
But they
I,
still don't because
I
he
remember
confirmed. Yeah,
watching that movie and thinking maybe they were gonna go supernatural with it, but they
yeah.
kind of
That's
put
what.
that to bed, and
Yeah,
you kind
that's
of
what they kind of
figure,
want you to think too in that one. Yeah, we'll get to
yeah,
that movie eventually, but
yeah,
they're similar but different, way different too. So then we cut to it's Friday the 13th, which I thought is also pretty funny and clever. The day before the Valentine's dance is supposed to take place. So newbie, I love how we had to wait a day to hear back from the asylum. That cracks me up. But they have no record of Harry Warden, and they were like, you know, it, a lot could have happened over 20 years. I'm like, really? That's how you run your asylum?
I
They're like,
know.
yeah, a lot could have happened, and it'll take several days to find out if he was transferred or if he's still alive or et cetera, et cetera. I'm like, what the fuck kind of asylum is this? So
Yeah.
then after that, he's like, all right, well, we need an answer. There's dead people piling up. So newbie then goes to the laundromat and he finds poor Mabel in the dryer. I love how he opens each. I love that classic where he's opening each dryer, and the clothes. Then he opens one and it's her body, and she's all burnt and crispy. I really like those special effects and makeup effects. Pretty awesome. But also his reaction is hilarious because it's like he's screaming, but he doesn't make any noise. He has that just like typical shocked
Hmm.
look in like a super, 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 super cheesy movie. The
Hmm.
the reactions to the bodies are pretty hilarious throughout this movie.
Yeah.
How the characters react.
It's almost like a classic old school, like, I don't
Yeah,
know, it reminded me of like a Hitchcock movie or something,
it's
how they just have
so
those
over the top,
extended over the
so
top.
over the top. Yeah, it
Yeah,
cracks me up.
yeah. You
But
could tell that this was like a new director because he's like taking from like older eras in terms of
yeah, I
like
think but I think
the
that he must
acting
have got
style and
notes
stuff.
like make this cheesy 80s. It's the 80s, like make this cheesy 80s. That's exactly what this is.
Hmm.
Um, but so after he finds Mabel's body, he doesn't. Him and the mayor don't want to announce that Harry could be back because it's going to cause a stir, and everyone's going to freak out. So I love how they just say she had a heart attack, but she's all
Yeah,
burnt and crispy. But
yeah.
the miner also left a note on Mabel's body, her corpse, and it said, "Happened once, it happened twice. Cancel the dance, or it will happen thrice." Again, these little notes crack me up.
Hmm.
I don't know why I get a laugh out of them. But so the mayor says, we're canceling the dance, and the chief tells the kids, he's like, "Listen, no parties, don't do anything extra out of respect for Mabel." So kids will be kids though, so we know that's obviously not going to happen.
Yeah, they're not
But
really kids though, which I
well,
thought
yeah,
was
well, I
funny.
call them kids because
They're
they
not
are
like
taking.
teenagers. They're
No,
not in
they're
high
like
school.
because
They're
they're
like
adults
in their
because they're working in the
20s.
mine. The dudes are
Yeah,
working in the mine. I just call
yeah.
them stupid kids because that's what all these '80s
I
movies.
know.
To me, they're kids. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
definitely like either just graduated high school or like early 20s. Like they're
They're
around.
definitely early 20. Well,
Yeah.
because when you think about like Axel, once you find out like
Right.
the
Right. Right.
ending, he was
Oh yeah. 20 years
what,
ago.
20 years ago,
Yeah.
he was like what, maybe 6 years old. So like mid 20s, I
Yeah.
would imagine. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because I was watching this with Jackie and she's like she thought it was the typical like, wait, these are supposed to be high schoolers. They look so much
Well, that's
older.
what
And
I
I was
was
like,
just
no, no,
gonna
no,
bring
no.
up. That's what I
I was
was
like,
just gonna
no,
bring
yeah.
up. I
They're
was like,
actually
because
not
even
high
when you
schoolers for
have like
once.
high schoolers in movies in the '80s, they're all like 35 playing
Yeah,
high
yeah.
schoolers
But
in
for once,
movies.
they're actually not high schoolers, which is
Yeah,
funny.
they're age accurate, but I just still
Kind
call
of,
them kids
yeah.
because they are dumb kids. Yeah, fun. That's funny that you brought that up
Yeah,
because I
I
was
thought
thinking the
this
same
was
thing.
I thought the police department really dropped the ball on this by like kind of covering it up and like
I
I
get
don't
not wanting to
I
cause a stir, but also like prepare people.
but yeah, I mean eventually it's going to come out, right? I mean, unless Mabel just has like no loved ones or whatever, but like you're just going to like poor Mabel, right? She gets
There's some
murdered and
like
now they're trying to
illegal police
sweep it
work. Yeah,
under
exactly,
the rug.
exactly.
Like that's
Yeah, some
fucked up.
sketchy.
Yeah.
Well, the mayor and the like they're covering. I feel like that must happen in a lot of today's situations where like the governors or mayors want to like cover up shit. But I was like, really, you're gonna?
Mhm.
They're horrible police work and horrible mayor.
It
Um.
didn't even make sense because like I draw parallels to like the first or the second too, but Jaws and how the mayor didn't want to
Oh, the
cause a
mayor's
stir.
fucker.
But in this movie, he didn't want to cause a stir, but he canceled the dance anyway. So there really was no benefit of not
Right.
causing a stir. Do you know what I mean? Like, I, you should have just told everybody, and then maybe they would have listened to you. So it really didn't even make sense. Like, wait, why are you trying to cover this up? I can understand if he still wanted to have the party, and like maybe it would like look bad for the town, but like you canceled the party anyway, so what's the point of covering it up? Like
Gonna
it
have some
didn't.
evil dies tonight. The whole town's gonna come over and try to go
Yeah,
get the Harry Warden,
yeah,
trying
I
to revolt
guess,
against Harry
yeah,
Warden. Halloween kills Joe, people.
I guess
Halloween kills Joe.
just hubris. I guess they thought they could
Yeah,
like kind of catch
it's
him
a.
before he caused any
You
more
know what it
damage.
is? Do you know what the easiest explanation is? It's an easy plot decision to just throw in there to get the story rolling along. That's exactly why they did
Hmm.
it.
Yeah, but it's our
And
job
again, it's
to call it out. I
exactly
mean,
and
we
like
are the never split up pod, so we do
yes,
have to
and I'm
call
not
these moments
gonna
out.
and like I get people calling out, but to me, again, I give these movies the benefit of the doubt because it's a cheesy '80s movie. But yeah, that's
Hmm.
exactly why they did it. It's
Yeah,
just because
when I call these
when you
things
get an
out, it's
A to
not because
B,
I
yeah.
like I'm just calling them out because they're funny,
No, yeah,
and
that's I agree.
that's
I
the
agree
theme of our
with that.
podcast. It's not because
But
I that this isn't like the deal breaker that makes me not like this movie. I
no,
just think it's like a
no.
funny, yeah, like
Oh
what the
yeah.
fuck? Like what were they thinking? You know? Yeah.
But so after that, after they cancel the dance and tell the I keep saying kids, the crew, our crew of characters to not have a party, we get the sappiest scene ever of TJ
Oh
and
my
Sarah
god,
at the
yeah.
beach. I love the sappy music. It's like the what are the soap operas that are on
Yeah,
TV
I
with the
know.
sappy music. Like this is definitely a Valentine's Day moment
Especially
they want to
because
have.
I don't mean to judge, but like TJ is a weird looking dude too. And like his smile and everything, like it's like
And
they
because
just
this
don't
is
look
another
like
scene where
a
like
good couple together.
he's
It's
trying
like
to
a
be
weird,
charming, but I'm also
yeah.
like, well, he's a killer. He looks like a killer.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if that was intentional or if he was that's just how he acts, but
I think after what like now we can look at it as an intentional, but I honestly think in that scene they're probably like, oh, he's probably like such a good romantic lead in this movie.
yeah.
But so yeah, they have their sappy scene, and he's like, I made mistakes when and I went away, and I'm sorry I didn't write you, and yeah, I want another chance. And then they have like their like movie moment kiss. They like grab each
Hmm.
other and kiss.
Yeah.
But
So stupid. It's like again, like you're saying to yourself, this guy's the killer. Like, why is he coming on so strong all of a sudden? Like,
right,
you haven't
right.
talked to this girl in like years, and now all
Right,
of a
so
sudden
clearly
you're
they have a
just like in
past. They
love
had
with
a
him again.
relationship in the past. So clearly they have like they had a past together and he wants a second chance, but she's with Axel now, blah blah blah. So then we get after that scene, we cut to the bar again at night, and the kids, the group, they come up with the idea like we're gonna have our own party down in the mine on Valentine's Day. So I'm like, all right. So they're gonna
You can call
not
them
obey
kids
the
because they
chief.
act like
Yeah,
kids.
I'm
They
gonna call them
act like
kids. That's
teenagers
why I
in
do
this
call them
movie
kids because they're
because
stupid.
yeah, they're stupid, and it's like when I was in my mid 20s, like I don't know, like I didn't need to party that badly, you
No.
know. Like
And
they
even if you're
definitely act like teenagers. Yeah,
and you know what, I'd be like, you're already at a bar. Why don't you just party at the bar?
yeah,
Like
I
the
know.
next day.
Like they're
Like
trying to like
first of
sneak
all, you're
out
20.
from their
You're
parents'
like,
house. Yeah,
even if some of them are like 8, 19, or like early 20s, I'm like, yeah, that's how you go that hard for Valentine's Day. I'm like, I guess because their town is known for Valentine's Day, but I'm like,
yeah,
damn, you
no, I
guys are
get
really
that.
going
Yeah,
hard.
but like
Like
the
you're going
party's
hard.
canceled. Like, calm down, guys. Like, let's just like chill at the bar. Like, yeah, I know.
Exactly. But so when they decide at the bar to have it, the bartender happy, he calls them assholes. And he's like, you're all going to die, which reminds me exactly of Ralph from Friday the 13th.
Mm,
Old Ralph.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Such a good parallel, right there. The same
Yes,
character. The same
yeah.
character.
Oh,
So I
poor
literally like
Ralph.
I actually wrote in my notes like, oh, this is Ralph
Yeah,
from Friday the
that's great.
13th.
Yeah. What year did Friday the 13th come out?
So
1980?
this came out, yeah. So this came out a year after Friday the
A year
13th.
after? Okay,
Literally,
cool.
this like after Halloween came out, Friday the 13th, and then all these slashers just try to imitate both of them. So I was like, oh, they
Yeah.
definitely just saw the character of Ralph. Like, we need a Ralph in our movie,
You think so?
which
Do you
is
so
fun.
you think it got
I
released
don't
after
know.
they started filming? Because that'd be
I
kind
don't
of
know a
close,
hundred.
right?
I don't know hundred
Yeah.
percent if that's what they did, but
Probably.
I
I mean,
believe
yeah.
Paramount Pictures released this movie, and Paramount Pictures also released Friday the 13th.
Okay, so they
So I'm
definitely
like,
knew.
maybe
Yeah.
something they knew
Even
what
if
was
it wasn't
happening in
released
Friday the
yet.
13th,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I think
They
even
had a
Friday the
formula.
13th, exactly. When that's
Yeah.
fine, a very simple formula.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, that's actually yeah, again, I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but I you say simple formula. I kind of wish they went more simplistic at the end. I'm a big Harry Warden fan, so I kind of wish Harry Warden was alive. I don't know how you
okay.
feel about that, but
I I
I do like
I like
the
the
kind of
switcher.
who done it,
Well,
but
that's what I was gonna say. I like the Who Done It, and that was a
I
shout out
like
to
it
Scream, by the way.
I
That's a
like it
very simple
for
formula.
this movie, but I feel like for the if they would have did Harry Warden, it could have made it into a better franchise. I feel like Harry Warden could have been one of those iconic villains that we talk about. And shout out to our last episode, our top 10 iconic villain episode. Definitely check that out, guys. And it was a big episode, but he could have like maybe made one of our lists it was Harry Warden, and they made that
Okay.
into a franchise. But I agree with you for the movie itself. A whodunit is always fine. It's always cool, but yeah, Harry Warden, man, I'm a fan of Harry Warden. Kind of pissed that he died. I don't know how you feel about
Okay.
that. He could
Interesting.
have been like
I
one of the
I think
legends
it
that we
was a
talk about.
cool you know, plot. I think it's cool that we didn't find out that he was. I thought it was smart that we didn't find out that he was dead until literally,
Mm,
right by the end. Because I thought, it could be Harry Warden, it could be one of these miners who are working there every day. Because I think to me, I mean, I love Harry Warden, but to me, I personally think it's more the miner outfit and whoever's behind that. You know, could be whoever. I'm more like, oh, that's a cool killer
mm,
outfit. So I'm fine
yeah.
with whoever's underneath it for me
Hmm.
personally. But
Okay.
I would have been so down for Harry Warden like coming back 20 years later and being the one responsible as well. I wouldn't have
Yeah.
had an issue with that.
So, you like the fact that the sheriff didn't reveal that he was dead until after everything played out? Because
Well,
that
yeah,
kind
because
of
we cut.
made it
We'll get
like a
to that
third
scene.
option for you. Yeah.
Yes, but because he
Because
had
I
to go.
disagree. I
Yeah.
think it should have been eliminated. I think we should have found out
Oh
before the
no,
whole
no.
mine scene that he was dead. So then it would have turned into more of a who done it between TJ and Axel.
Because I think we find out he. Yeah, yeah. No, I'm fine with how they. I actually like how they did it because I think. I mean,
Okay.
again, not to bring up the remake. I think that Harry Warden was killed off too early, like right in front of us. Like
Yeah.
I think they revealed that too early in the remake.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
it's a kind of flip flop for me.
Yeah, I guess I'm a little confused because again, they kind of sort of set up TJ for us to be sketchy, like the junkyard scene and everything, but then they
But
kind
we
of
also have
abandon that towards the end, and it's
well, we
pretty much
also
between
have
Axel and Harry Warden.
well, we also
Yeah.
have Axel acting up throughout the movie because he's pissed about TJ. We can't really trust either of them. We also have the fact that every like male at this party is a minor. So we don't. I mean, they don't play with that enough, but it could
Hmm.
be anybody.
Yes.
So like that
Yeah,
part
no,
is
I like
that's
that.
part
I
of it
guess I
too.
just wish they could have played it up a
You
little
wanted
more.
more of you wanted more of
Yeah,
like the
more of
mystery
it.
of it, and then to play with the
Yeah.
characters, like make them more suspicious, like in every Scream movie, like who's a suspect, blah blah blah.
Yeah, everybody's a suspect. Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's very simple
Yeah.
formula. Everybody's a suspect.
Yeah.
But so that's
Yeah.
what it is. It just didn't capitalize. I agree. It didn't capitalize on the
Yeah, it
mystery,
didn't
but I'm
capitalize.
happy
Yeah.
that the mystery was there compared to
Okay.
the other
Yeah.
80s
No,
slashers.
I see what you're saying, but I feel like Harry Warden, man, could have been a
Yeah, you
badass
really
fucking
love Harry
villain. Yeah,
Warden. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
No, you would
I
have.
don't know. I love the whole backstory, and I love the name Harry Warden. Like that just sounds like a badass villain, and I don't
Rolls off
know.
the
Yeah,
tongue.
it does. Yeah.
Yeah, that's yeah. Well, yeah. So that's we like. I feel like we agree, but we and slightly disagree too. So that's cool. That's cool with like how that played out. It's yours is more
Yeah,
of
no,
like an
I agree with
execution.
all of
Yours
your
is an
points.
execution issue.
It's just
Yeah,
more of like it kind of makes me. You know what it is like? I don't disagree with any of your points. How it's like a fun '80s slasher, and to like you know just take it as that. But because it has all these cool elements, because it has this really cool design, it
you
has
thought it
like
could
the
have been
Harry
more.
Warden. It could have, yeah, it could have been more. So it's almost like a compliment to the movie in a way
I see
that
what you're
because
saying.
it
So
has
you're
all these great
saying,
ingredients that it
yeah.
didn't like execute them because it if it was just like a normal throwaway 80s slasher, I'd be fine with it. But because it had such these cool elements, I kind of wish it was elevated to that, like Halloween was, and even Friday the
Okay.
13th, you know?
So you're saying
Because,
it could have been more, but you're still at the end of the day you're fine with what it ended up being for the most part.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah. It's just like, oh,
Okay. Yeah,
what
I
could
see
have
that
been, I
point.
guess.
I see that
Yeah,
point. 100%.
yeah.
Okay, cool. So my next scene that we're going to talk about is
Yeah,
actually
let's
one of
get
my
back to the movie.
favorites because
Sorry,
it's
guys. Back.
it's pretty suspenseful. So Happy the bartender after he says you're all going to die after he pulls a Ralph, he goes to the mine that night and he's drunk and he
Hmm.
goes to like stage a scare for the kids because he doesn't want them to have the party. And I love this scene; it's so good. So he props
Yeah.
up like the miner outfit behind a door, and he puts a pickaxe. So he like sets up an outfit to scare them when they open the door with a pickaxe, and he opens and closes the door several times because he's drunk. He's like,
Like
ah, and he
four
like
times,
laughs. He
five
like
times. I
laughs every
know.
time. He's like, ah, ha, ha,
Yeah.
ha, ha, I'm gonna get you. I'm like, dude, you're by yourself. Like, what are you doing? But I mean,
Yeah.
you know what's coming eventually. But it's still like the build up is kind of. I like the build up. I mean,
Yeah.
you definitely know it's coming, 100%.
Oh
But
yeah.
I love he's left. But then the last time he opens the door one more time, and the killer appears, and he kills him with the pickaxe. And I love this kill. He goes through his throat, and that axe comes out his eyeball.
Hmm.
Such good gore effects.
I actually think this is my favorite kill of the movie.
It's so good.
This is my favorite sequence. I like the Mabel sequence too, but
I just wish we
this
saw
one
the
is so
yeah, we didn't
fun.
see her get killed. Yeah, this one because we see the whole like the monitor's full on in
Yeah.
action,
Yeah,
and I love
yeah,
because the
yeah.
monitor was playing with him because he waited till he went back the fifth time to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just laughed too because I'm like this guy's laughing every time he's opening the door, and then you know it's coming. But I love this. I agree. This might be my favorite kill too. I love this kill,
It's so fun. Yeah, I love this kill too. Yeah.
and it sets because it's cool because you kind of get the hint. You're like, oh no, this gonna be a badass like third
So
act
you're
in this
saying in the
mine.
original they didn't show any of that, like the eyeball or anything? Like that's
Nope.
crazy, man. Because
Nope.
that's like
They
the stuff
probably
I
just
think
showed
of.
the pickaxe going up and they cut. They
I would have
destroyed
hated
this
this movie
movie.
if
They
I
destroyed
didn't
this
see the
movie.
extended.
And
Yeah.
how much of a travesty that would have been because that wasn't the director's intent.
Hmm.
He would have been like it's a movie that's not complete because it literally
Yeah.
wasn't complete. And it still
Yeah.
gained a cult following before the uncut was released. So that's pretty impressive for the movie to have that, cult following. But then once
You said
the
that wasn't released until years later.
I think they ended up getting the footage restored, like, around the time the 2009 remake was coming out, and they
Wow.
released it on, like, DVD, and then eventually, Scream Factory now a couple years ago did the Blu-ray, but,
Wow.
then so when the remake came out, this movie got a whole another huge following. It already had, like, a little cult following, but then it
Hmm.
really got the love because people went back and were able to see the uncut,
Yeah.
it's because it's a true '80s horror movie when you watch it uncut, you
Oh
know,
yeah.
and all of its, bloody glory, but yeah, that scene's so good with the eyeball, so good.
Hmm.
And I like
Yeah.
again, I really love the weapon, the pickaxe weapon.
I know.
I don't know why it
Me
does something
too.
for me. It
It's
really
great.
does. It does something for me.
Every killer has an iconic
Yep.
something, and to me, it's the pickaxe, and it's the miner costume too. But the pickaxe is so cool and unique because it's never
Yeah.
been done before. I don't think it's really been done again. It's so unique to this movie and this.
And again, to the killer and this movie's credit, I think because when I think of killers off the top of my head, I think Michael Myers has the butcher knife, Jason has the machete, Freddy Krueger has the finger knives,
Mhm.
Ghostface has his like specific Ghostface knife. But I do like when you're gonna ask me of like killer weapons, I would even say like, oh yeah, and the miner has the pickaxe. Not
Oh
every
yeah.
like slasher movie you think of the weapon right away. I mean, Leatherface has his
No,
chainsaw, but there's a lot of the '80s that you don't like connect it with the weapon. But with this movie, I do right away.
100% because it's so part of him. I would say it's up there with Freddy because Freddy always has the glove, but, like,
Right.
Michael doesn't always have the knife.
Well, he has
He
other
doesn't
methods he could.
he
Right.
has
Right.
other
Right.
methods, same with Jason, same
Right.
with, a lot of the other guys, but the miner, like, he's attached to that pickaxe.
Right.
That's his thing, so, yeah, I agree
And
with
we'll
you on
get
that.
into it when we get to the third act, but I love when he like knocks the lights out with the pickaxe
Oh,
at the
I
end. It's
know,
so
yeah,
damn good, so good.
yeah.
That was a clever choice to do. So I'm like, I love that. I
Yeah,
love it.
I think it could have been like, they could have played it out better to where, like, they were running and then, like, he's in the background doing it. It
Yeah,
could have
yeah,
been a little
yeah,
bit more
yeah,
intense, but I love that scene too. Yeah.
yeah. I love that stuff. All right, so that's their killed, and then the next day is Valentine's Day. So Saturday, it's Valentine's Day. Um, Newbie, and this is a little bit of a sad moment, but kind of in a corny way. Newbie's at the police station, Chief Newbie, and he sent another Valentine's box, and he's like, "Oh shit, it's gonna be another body part or heart." But it's chocolates from Mabel and asking to be his Valentine. So
I
she
know.
sent him chocolate. I'm like, oh, come
I
on.
know, poor Mabel.
Mabel, she just wanted to like have a good Valentine's Day and like just run her laundromat. Damn, she was done dirty.
I
But
know.
so then we cut right to nighttime, and the kids, they're partying it up. They're not in the mine. They're like right at like a pub place, like right out. Not even a pub, like a hall, like right next to the mine, partying it up.
Yeah, I
Um,
think of it as, like, their break room or something.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we get another killer right away. Dave, he's going in the kitchen, and the miner he shoves his face in boiling water that has like hot dogs cooking in it. I always think I'm like that must have been like a shitty death, and it must have smelled like so funky with the hot dogs in there and all that shit.
I know.
But so that was a cool death. We got to see his like shriveled up face. That's a throwback to well, that's also because I think Halloween 2 came out the same in 1981, so it has a similar scene.
Mhm.
Well, better executed though in the hot tub. Way better
Yeah.
executed with her
Yeah, me too.
face.
Yeah, 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 I think
Way
so
better.
too.
But So then after that, so that's another cool death scene. After that, we get a shot outside the station, and newbie he like there's a bunch of stray dogs like come out of nowhere and they're eating a bloody Valentine. And then there's a note that says you didn't stop the party. So he's like, oh shit, shit's gonna go down.
But yeah,
Um,
he's like, "What party?" He doesn't know. He's like, "What the fuck? We did cancel the party. What are you talking about?" Yeah. He's so
he's like,
confused. It's
oh
like,
no,
"Well,
here
I
we
mean, you
go.
didn't fucking talk about Mabel's death. You tried to cover it up. So yeah,
Right.
people are partying. They're not going to take this
And first of all,
seriously."
if you warned the kids not to have a party, wouldn't you go check, like, do a routine
Yeah.
and be like, "Is anything
Yeah.
going on?"
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. I
Again,
don't know if they were like
I don't
I
even
don't think
hate
they were
him.
underpowered or undermanned like for the night, but like
Small town, small town.
yeah, they should have had a deputy or so like go to the
Do
bar
like
and
patrol,
make sure
like
people
doing
are
their
home.
job and
Because
patrolling.
didn't he say like stay home and don't go out?
Yeah, he's
Like
like,
I would
don't
have
you
had
don't
everyone on lockdown, like
right.
close your doors, lock your doors. But no, he's just like, yeah, no party, but you can just go about your day, like
No
so
party, but
half-assed.
have a party.
Yeah.
So then we're back in the break room hall area, and Axel's like being like such a creep. He's like forcing himself on us. He's drunk, forcing himself on Sarah at the party, and Sarah does push him off, and she's like stands up for herself. She's like, I have my own mouth. I can tell you what I want and don't want. But then of course TJ comes up, and Axel and TJ get into it. Sarah calls them both jerks, and they get into a little fist fight. But then Hollis, who's another minor, one of their friends, he breaks up the fight. And of course Sarah's upset, and she walks away. And then this is another where we get a little hint of maybe TJ, because TJ goes outside on his own. No, I think actually,
No,
yeah,
it's
no, Axel.
Axel
Axel goes out on
does.
his own.
He goes out
She chugs
drinking.
some beer,
Yeah.
and he has a breakdown, but he's alone. So you're almost like, okay, Axel's going down a bad path because he's having a breakdown. So that's where I kind of started thinking like maybe it could be Axel too.
Mhm.
Um, so then we get another cool scene. I love this. Is another one of my favorite scenes in the movie. It's pretty iconic because they do play with it in the remake too. There's a couple they're hooking up in the mining like gear area, I guess where they gear up, and I think their names are John and Sylvia. Again, like these characters
Mm.
just don't
Yeah.
matter at all. So like the only reason
Yeah.
I know their name is because I know
You
like
wrote
they
it
might have
down.
said, "Oh, John, Sylvia," like when they're hooking up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're hooking up under like the miner outfits, and John, I literally put guy shows girl, but John, John shows Sylvia how like they get their outfits down, like they pull the rope and it like drops down, so that's going to come into play in a little bit. So he says, I'm gonna go get us more beer. So he leaves her alone, and we see the two girls. They're two. I think Sarah's with Sarah and Patty. They're in the kitchen and they're like putting more hot dogs in the water. And they're like, "What's this?" And it's clearly Dave's heart. And then when John opens their fridge to get a beer, we see Dave's dead body in the fridge, which I thought was pretty cool.
Mhm.
So then we
But he
cut back to
doesn't see him.
no, he did. No one realizes like what's going on.
Yeah.
Um, so we cut back to Sylvia waiting for John to get back, and she hears noises. She sees some of the outfits like shaking above her, and then we see a shot of the miner turning on the hoses, and the outfits they start falling down in front of her. Pretty cool scene. They fall down all around her. This was the scene I was talking about. I love it. Again, a little bit of suspense. So she's running around. All this shit's falling down, and then we get the bartender's body, Happy's body. He comes down with the mining outfits. So she sees that, and then the miner shows up and he kills her by shoving her head through one of the hose pipes. Another cool kill. Not as good as a Happy's kill, but it was a cool bloody kill. I like that kill.
Yeah, the
And
best part of this kill is when the boyfriend comes back and sees her and
that's
he's
what I was
got
just
the
gonna
the,
say.
the
The same
faucet going through her
reaction.
mouth. Yeah.
Yeah. And but the same reaction that Chief Newbie had to Mabel's,
Yeah.
he's like,
Yeah.
it's just like that shocked look, but
That
no,
long
like,
extended. Yeah.
it cracks
Yeah,
me
I
up.
know.
Every reaction is
It's like a
priceless.
silent film
Yep.
shot or something. But yeah, he's got the shower, but he runs the water, so it's coming out of her
Yes,
mouth.
yes.
Yeah,
It's
it's
so
funny.
cool because when he finds her,
Yeah.
he's like,
Yeah,
so,
that's very Michael Myers esque, like staging the
yes, I
body,
like that. Cool.
Yeah.
It's very, very cool. So the chief is on his way to the mine, but he gets a call from a woman. He said, "Oh, someone calls him from the station. They say a woman from Eastfield, the asylum, called." So he obviously has to head back to the station, and that's when he goes to find out that Harry Warden was dead. But we don't find out yet. Um, so then we get a really dumb moment. The group were like, "Hey, let's go down in the mine for a ride," and Sarah's included in this group, and she goes down. So Axel pretty much tells Hollis, saying, "Don't take them down in the mine." But Hollis like, "Oh, we'll be quick." So Axel doesn't really stop them, so they just go off. And after their ride, the group convince Hollis to take them on a tour through the mine, which I think is pretty. I'd probably ask for a tour too. It's pretty cool down there. Um, so then two of the people in the group, I think their names again. I think their names are like Mike and Harriet. They split off on their own, and they say, well, we'll meet up with you in a little bit. So then we get John, who found Sylvia and this screaming girl. They run into the party inside, and they're like, "Oh, Sylvia and Dave are dead." But then
Yeah.
TJ comes. No, TJ comes in separately. He goes, "Dave's dead." So they're like, "Oh, how does he know that Dave's dead? Where do you find Dave?" So again, another little
Well, he went
thing to
into the
throw in.
kitchen. He saw him in the freezer. So he came
I
out
think actually, I
first.
think I think it's
It
is
was
it
the
TJ or
woman.
Axel who says that?
Um,
It might be Axel who
no,
says
it
Dave's
was a
dead.
woman who found
She
Dave.
screamed. Yeah, yeah, yeah. She
Yeah,
says,
and then he said, "What's wrong?" And she said, "Dave's dead." And then
"Oh yeah, yeah,
Axel
Dave's
went to
dead. Dave's dead."
confirm. Axel went in there to confirm that Dave was dead. And then at
Okay,
the
yeah, yeah,
same time
okay.
Axel came out to confirm it, the other guy came running in to say that his
Right,
girlfriend was
John.
dead.
Yeah,
John, yeah.
Sylvia's dead. Cynthia,
Yeah.
Sylvia's dead.
Yeah.
Again, hilarious delivery, hilarious. So then Axel like takes charge of the group, and he's sent. No, is it Axel or TJ who takes charge? I think TJ takes
It's
charge.
Axel instantly says, I remember this specifically. He goes, "Harry Warden's back. Everyone get the fuck out of here." And he has everyone just run into a panic.
Oh yeah,
And
so then so TJ is the one who says, get everyone go home, and he says we're gonna go down and get the others because he knows they're
he
in the mine.
calls the
Yeah,
police, TJ.
right,
He's the smart
right.
one. He calls
He
the
is.
police right away. And then he goes to Axel and he says, "Everyone is down in the mines. Sarah
Right.
is down there. We
We have
got
to
to
go
go
get
get
her.
him."
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Again, so TJ's kind of showing a little bit more of like being responsible in this moment
Hmm.
because Axel's exactly you said. Axel like it's
Yeah,
craziness. We can't.
Axel's
Yeah.
just kind of like, I think you chalk it up to like maybe he's drunk still, so he's trying to
Right.
process it all,
But
but
he's
he's
like
like kind of
he's
frozen in a way. He
causing
doesn't know
so
what to
much
do.
chaos. Like.
Yeah.
So they decide they're gonna split up on separate ends of the mine and like meet up in the middle in the main shaft. So again, they split up. They split up right here. Never
Never
split
split
up.
up. Yeah.
They split up, but then it's also like, are you splitting up because one of you is the killer? Again, it's like you don't know
Yeah.
why they're splitting
Yeah.
up. Um, so then we go back to the mine with the group, and Hollis and Howard, who's another guy who's down there again, rant like he's irrelevant their name, but Hollis and Howard scare the girls, Sarah and Patty. So they start heading back, and they're like, "Oh, we need to find Mike and Harriet. Where are they?" So they start going back, and they're going. We get a shot of the miner, and this is the shot I was talking about. I love this shot. He
Yeah.
starts breaking the lights with the pickaxe. It's so badass. But they don't see him do it. They just hear it.
They
They're like,
hear it.
oh, they're
Yeah.
like, what's that? So they kind of start getting nervous and freaking out. But then TJ finds them, and he tells them he thinks that it's Harry Warden. He's like, oh, Harry Warden's back, and he's down here, you know. But then they're like, oh, we have to find Mike and Harriet. So then another never split up moment. Horace and TJ split up to go find Mike and Harriet, and they say Howard, you look after the girl. So everyone splits up, literally everybody.
Hmm.
So Horace and TJ split up, and it's just Howard left with the two girls. So Horace finds Mike and Harriet's dead bodies. So we didn't see them get killed, but we just see the aftermath of their dead bodies. And then the miner appears right behind Horace, and he shoots him in the face a couple of times, the head in the face with a nail gun.
Hmm.
And but then he just leaves. So Horace makes his way back to the girls and Howard, but he collapses and obviously dies from his wounds
Yeah.
right
This
there.
was my second favorite kill. I
Okay.
thought this kill was awesome too. How he kept shooting him in the
I
face
wish he got a
and he
couple more
didn't go
shots
down.
in. Yeah, yeah. I wish he got
Yeah.
a couple more shots in. But I
But the
like
fact
that.
that he
Yeah.
didn't die right away and he
I
makes
love
it
that he
back to
let
the
them
group.
suffer. He let them like walk back.
Yeah.
He let Horace like make it back to them, but he's like, "Oh, you're gonna die in a second anyway. I'm just
Oh
gonna let you
yeah.
do that." So I thought
Yeah,
that
yeah,
was
that
cool
was
too.
fun. Yeah.
Um, so the miner starts. He's approaching them after that, and we get a tiny chase scene. But and Howard, this is I have my notes. Howard is the smartest guy in this movie. He's like, "Peace out. I'm fucking getting out of here." So he leaves the girl because Patty is the most annoying bitch in this movie. She's like, "Horace is dead. I can't get up." Sarah's like, "There's a fucking killer. We gotta go." She's
Yeah.
like, "No, I can't move." I'm like, "Oh, leave that bitch."
Yeah.
So Howard leaves both of them. He's like, "We gotta go. Bye."
Mhm.
Again, hilarious. So then Axel shows up, and he's with Patty and Sarah, and they start to leave, and then Patty, she's so annoying. She's like, I can't go on. I think Sarah literally is like, shut the fuck up and move. She's like, shut up. You need to keep going. She's
Mhm.
the worst person in this movie. Patty, so annoying. So then they think that they hear something, and Axel assumes it's the killer, but it ends up just being TJ. But he does hit TJ. So now all the four of them are together. So it's Axel, TJ, Sarah, and Patty. So they start to make their way out, and then the chief newbie he arrives right outside the mine. But then we find out when we go back down that the miner, the killer, he smashed the control panel. So the only way they can get out is climbing a ladder. Again, they start climbing, and Patty, oh my god, she's horrible. She like goes up 2 steps. She's like, I just can't go. I can't go. Sarah's like, get the fuck up there, girl. I would leave her.
Yeah,
I would say you're gonna be bait. You got to go last. That's what I would have done.
yeah, yeah,
She's like, I don't want to go any further. And Sarah's like, move it, damn it. I think she literally says that to her. I'm
yeah.
like, yeah, she would have to be the bait in my opinion. So then they get to the top, but they find poor Howard. He didn't get to escape. His body is there, and his body ends up falling on a rope, and his head is severed. So his head is beheaded, and they go back down though. They don't even try to get out. They just go back down after they see his body. I'm like,
Yeah, I
okay,
saw that. Thought of
I
that
guess
too, but
I guess it's a
I
shock.
guess they thought because Harry was up there
Right. Well, they also
because
could
the
have been
head was
like,
there.
right. They thought like, oh, Harry set it up, so he obviously like trap. It's a trap, like to not let them get out. Like they lock. He must have locked it or something. He's either outside there or he locked it. That's what I got from that. But I'm like,
Yeah.
I might have still tried to get out. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, because that's pretty much the only way. Well, you can go up the main tunnel, which
Right.
they
They have
were
to go
gonna try
back down and go
next,
out. Right.
but
Right.
yeah, I think they assumed that because his dangling head was up there, that maybe Harry
Right.
Warden was up there
I
too.
thought about it for a few minutes. I'm like, I guess I'll give them the benefit of the doubt in that
Yeah,
scenario. I guess. So they
I probably
go.
would have kept going.
I would have kept going. I'm like, I'm not going back down there. Hell no. Especially with that
Yeah,
Patty chick. Damn, we'd be doomed. So they go back down, but then Axel he falls into the water, and TJ's pretty much all right. He's dead. Let's keep going. Like no effort. He's like, oh, the water is 60 feet deep. It's too late for him. Let's keep going. Again, another thing. I'm like, oh well, TJ's saying that pretty like easily. Like, is he setting them up or what? So they hear a noise, but they keep going, keep moving, they keep going, and TJ tells them, you go again. This is stupid because he splits up with them. So he tells the girls to get against the wall and like follow the wall out, but he goes to check on a noise and investigate. So he splits up from them. Like, why don't you just keep going? And then they hear a noise of something going on. And they go back like stupid idiots for TJ. And
yeah,
the miner comes out and stabs and kills Patty finally. I like cheered when that happened. She needed a more brutal death. She just got a pickaxe to the stomach, I'm pretty sure. A nice
yeah,
quick
yeah.
death.
Pretty uneventful, pretty
Yeah,
quick. Yeah,
but it needed to happen because she needed to go. So then we get a quick shot outside, and the rest of the police and like the town pretty much arrive. And Sarah and TJ reunite. He's like, "No, I just got hit in the head." We see his head's a little bloody. All he says was, "I got hit." He doesn't say like I was attacked or whatever. I think it could have been some of the rubble falling or whatever, but he doesn't
Mhm.
explain how he got hit right there. If I were Sarah, I'd been like, "What happened?" But again, I guess the adrenaline's going, so whatever. I would question it a little bit. Um,
Yeah, I can't really blame her because at this point, I'm like Harry Warden's back. I'm not even really questioning that it's TJ. If I'm
right.
one of her, if I'm her, yeah,
Okay. So they again they start to run to escape, and this is also when we get a shot of the chief newbie and the cops, the town. They start heading into the mine as well. Um, so the miner appears in front of Sarah and TJ, but they get into like the railroad, and they get on like a mini I don't know mine train. I don't know what it's called. And that's a little cool chase scene when the miner's like walking on it. I thought that was cool, and him and TJ get into a little fight.
hmm
I like that
yeah, it
scene.
was cool too. I'm not sure how
Quick.
mines work, but I
I
thought
don't know
that
either.
was disabled. That's why they couldn't get down. So I
But
don't know
no,
how.
but didn't TJ fix something at the end to get that going,
Oh,
the
did
cart
he?
going? I think he did
Oh,
to
is that
get
why he
yeah, he did.
split up?
Yeah. Well, he
Maybe.
was
Okay.
no, he hurt no, I think he split up to investigate.
Mm.
But I think
So he fixed the panel.
quickly because before the miner appeared, he was fixing the cart
Okay.
panel. Yeah, to get up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was fine with that. So they end up like getting thrown off the railroad with the killer, and again the miner and TJ fight, and then the miner gets his pickaxe stuck, and he takes out a knife to go stab TJ, but Sarah pulls off the mask, and it's revealed that the killer is Dum 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 Axel. He faked his death. Obviously, he faked his drowning. But they escape. They escape because the rubble ends up falling on Axel. So they get to escape. Quick, quick, quick. little fight scene and they escape.
Well, yeah, you get the quick flashback too.
Yeah.
So,
Well, yeah,
as
we get
soon
that
as
coming
his
up.
face is revealed,
Yeah.
well, no, it happens as soon as his face is revealed. TJ goes, Axel, why? Like it's so corny, but he
Yeah.
asks him why, like he's doing this, and then he gets like a Axel gets like a flashback, and
Right.
that's why
Flashback.
he hesitates while they're able to get away. But the flashback is he was the kid of the supervisor who
Right.
died
So Harry
in
Warden
the
killed his dad 20 years ago because his dad was one of the supervisors who.
yeah, and he watched it. He
Right.
watched him kill him and then rip his heart out.
Right. And that's why he did
So
with the hearts, 20 years later.
yeah,
I like that. I'm cool with that reveal. I like it a lot.
okay,
Um so they go out and they let the cops know and the chief know, the killer isn't Harry Warden. And then the chief goes, this is when the chief says, I know. Because when I went back to the station, I found out that Harry Warden died 5 years ago. So, you know, two and two came together. And I love this ending so much. Oh, this is actually the creepiest part of the movie, in my opinion. I love it. So they say, we got alive, he's alive. So they find Axel in the rubble, but you only see his arm. And Sarah, I don't know why, she goes to grab his hand, which like he was just trying to kill her, but whatever.
yeah,
So but we get a shot of like him grabbing her, but then we see on the other side because he's like below a bunch of rocks, he's slicing his arm off and cutting his arm off so he can escape, you know,
yeah,
in the mine through the rubble. I love that. And then as he's running away, we get a little shot of him running, and he's just like, I'll be waiting in hell for you, Harry. I'm coming. This whole town is going to die. We're coming back, you bastards. And this is my favorite part. And then it ends with Sarah. Will you be my bloody Valentine? But then he's like maniacally laughing, like one of the creepiest laughs I've probably ever heard.
yeah.
It's so
I
creepy.
know.
And then
Yeah,
he
it
like
is.
starts singing like, Daddy gone away, Harry Warden made you pay. I'm like, oh, and then he laughs again, and then it ends. I love that. I love the
I loved
ending.
it too. I
I
almost
love
wish
it.
they used it more in the
Me
movie.
too.
Like
Me
had him
too.
use the voice in the movie because it was so
Because when he
creepy.
transitions to that voice, like this is like
Who did that
this is.
voice? Was it
I
wasn't
think
the
it was
same
him.
guy,
I
was
think
it?
it
Really?
was.
Oh. It was like this creepy clown voice
It's
almost. I think of a
so creepy,
clown.
and the laugh is
Yeah.
so good,
Yeah, I
so
know.
creepy.
I don't even want to try to
No, I know.
replicate it. It's like,
I
yeah, it's
get
like this high
guys
pitched.
watch the movie and let us know what you think of the ending scene because that's my favorite scene in the movie. It's the creepiest scene when he does it.
It's
I love
creepy.
when he's
Yeah.
like, "Will
It's
you
like
be
out
my
of
bloody
nowhere
Valentine?"
though.
I
I
know
wish they kind of set it up a little bit.
because the rest
Yeah.
of the movie was fun, like slasher fun. But the ending, I'm like, wow, they could have made it a little like pretty
Exactly.
scary, like pretty
That's what
scary.
I mean. Like it had the ingredients, but it just didn't like
But then on the
get
other
to
hand, I
that level
thought
that I
that
wanted it to.
leaving it on that, like I'll always remember that ending, but I don't know if it happened throughout. Like I thought it ended on that. Like that was a little shock for me that it ended so
Hmm.
creepily like that. Like kind of left it open. And again, I
Yeah.
would have been down for a sequel because like, did he get away? Did they catch him? We don't know. Which is
Yeah.
also like cool that it's open ended like that. But I wish I got a
Hmm.
continuation. And then the movie ends and we get a cool like Valentine's ballad like song through the credits. I
Yeah, I
love that
know.
ending. I love the ending. So that's my Bloody
I
Valentine, the original.
I yeah, the ending. Just to go back to the ending real quick. Yeah, the ending was fine. What did you think about Axel being the killer in general? Like, so because he saw his supervisor dad. So, what do you think his main motive was to like stop the party 20 years later?
I
You just
think
think
that he was
because his
offended
dad
that I
paid
think they probably
that the rest
he's
of the town should pay because it's not fair that his dad died and
well,
nobody
I
else
think he
died? Like, what do
probably
you
was
think?
I think them deciding to have the dance again triggered his brain to go a little nutso again and said, I'm gonna have
Hmm.
to start this killing again because they forgot about my dad and what happened to him. So that maybe
Okay.
motivated him.
Yeah.
And he's obsessed with Harry, obviously, because he said, I'm coming for you, Harry, I'm coming.
Yeah, that was what kind of confused me because I'm like, wait, what is his motive? Because like, why is he looking up to Harry?
I think
You
when he
know?
saw Harry kill his dad, like it fucked him up, but he kind of like became Harry. Like
Yeah,
became some form of him. I don't know. I like, and then it fucked him up. So now he wants
yeah,
to, I guess, kill the people who were responsible for having a party, just like Harry killed the
yeah,
people who were responsible for
yeah. I mean,
causing him.
simple
Yeah,
enough. Yeah, pretty
but
straightforward.
I like the reveal, and again, we'll get. I don't want to give it away. The remake is a little different.
Hmm. Yeah, I like the reveal too. Again, I just go back to like by the time you get that entire, I don't know if it's the third act, but by the time you get back into the mine at the end, you, I knew it wasn't TJ, and they were still trying to
Okay.
set it up because the Dave kill, you knew it wasn't TJ because Dave was in the party accounted for. He was like
Right.
literally talking to people. I don't know if that was like bad editing and they missed that, but Dave was TJ was accounted for one or two of those kills earlier on. And I think also the couple too. We knew Axel was alone drinking outside, but the
Okay.
couple that went into the uniform, like I knew that TJ was in the party. He never left the party, so I don't know if that was just like I said, an editing thing where they didn't quite
I know
think
what you
that
would have
through.
loved,
But
and I think about it. I know what ending you would have loved. I think about it every time I watch it, like an alternate.
what's
What they
that?
could have done is if when they found out that Harry Warden, that they have no record of him in the beginning of the movie, I think that instead of finding out later in the movie that he died 5 years ago, they could have been like, "Oh, he was transferred, but he escaped." And then I think the last shot of the movie, if after Axel cut his arm off and was running away, we see a shot
Harry
of
kills him or something.
another miner, and it's Harry and Axel escaping together, and then they're going to be the killers. Because then it could have been, oh, there was two
Yeah,
killers the whole movie. It was Harry
yeah,
and Axel, and then they go off and escape. That would have been cool. And then you have
that
your
would have been
sequel,
cool.
Harry
Yeah,
Warden. You have your
yeah.
sequel, Harry
No,
Warden,
again,
right there.
I'm pissed that they killed Harry. And
But
yeah,
again,
because did you cover that? So we didn't find out that Harry Warden was dead until like after Axel was revealed to be the killer. You
well,
like
because
that,
that, I
but
did because that's when he
I,
said, when that's when the chief said, "I know." I just found out that Harry Warden died 5 years ago when he went back to the
mhm,
station. That's when he said, "I know it
mhm.
wasn't him." But I think that I was fine with him being dead. But I'm saying if you really wanted to set this up as a franchise, that would have been cool to have
Yes,
them both. Finding out that it was two killers the whole time doing
yeah.
it, and that we
And
you know
that's I guess that's like a conversation that you can have like when you're making a movie, especially a slasher like this. It's weighing like, do I want to do the movie that I want to make, or do I want
right
to like
set
set
up.
this up
And I
for
usually don't. I
future
don't like
movies?
setup
So
movies, but
not so much that it would have been a setup, but it's like I guess the writer and the director
right,
had a certain vision,
right,
and it's like you have to weigh that with like, does this make sense if we want to
right,
continue
right.
this franchise?
It's
And
just a what
they
if
stuck to
scenario,
their
in my
guns,
opinion.
and I
Right? Yeah.
guess,
What
and
if? That's a
yeah,
what if to me. Like a what if could have
yeah.
happened. But again,
Hmm.
as a standalone, I'm fine with like that. It was a one and done.
And
Kind of
they
makes it more
still could
special to
have.
me too.
I mean,
But they could
I've
have made a
seen
sequel with Axel. Yeah.
they could have made a sequel with Harry. They could have just been
Right.
like, "Oh, we made a mix up and he wasn't dead." Like
Right.
they've done
Right.
crazier things in horror
Right.
franchises to bring the
Right.
guy back. I mean, look
I
at
mean, he could
Michael
have faked his
Myers.
death and then
I
done
mean, look at
whatever
the
kill.
yeah, Michael
Right.
Myers literally gets
But
beheaded and then they rewrite that. So
But again, as a one and done, I also it's kind of special to me to just I can just pop this one in every Valentine's Day and be done with it, and just
mhm.
watch the one movie and then watch the remake back to back. To me, it's kind of special that way too. But yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of what ifs, but I think as a standalone movie, it did its job as well. And again, that ending really
Yeah.
sticks with me. The ending sticks with me a lot.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, so that's the movie, guys. I pretty straightforward. We kind of just blew through that because it was mostly the kills and then that final act where they're in the mine. I mean, that's really what you remember from this
Right.
movie.
The set
The
pieces are
rest of the
awesome. The
movie,
set
yeah,
pieces
the
are
rest of that
awesome.
movie was just set up for that. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely
Which
agree.
again is fine.
Hmm.
Yeah, fun '80s slasher movie that you guys should check out with your loved ones for Valentine's Day. Getting the
Hmm.
cheesy, and it's cheesy too. So Valentine's Day is a cheesy holiday. So get in the mood, get some cheesiness, grab some chocolate, and
Yeah.
watch this miner slash people up.
Hmm. Awesome. Well, there was no shortage of never split up moments in this movie. So why don't we get to that? I have to announce, I didn't announce it in the beginning, but we have a first on this podcast. It took 14 episodes, but we have our first tie. So we both tied for our top 10 lists, our top 10 villain lists. We nobody won. There's our first tie. So I don't know how we're going to handle this. And I guess it doesn't really matter because
No, it
this is
doesn't.
just like a fun little thing we do, but we can just decide who goes first. If you want to go first, I don't remember who won 2 weeks ago. I think it was you. So if you want to keep the
Yeah, I
ball
think it
rolling and
was
go
me.
first
No,
again, you can
I'll let
go.
you can go first.
Are you sure?
Yeah, you can go first.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So again, this is our never split up moment, guys, where we pick a dumb moment from a movie that the characters make. There are literally split up moments in this movie that we could choose from, but we don't have to necessarily pick one of those moments. It could just be any dumb moment for anyone new that's listening.
Yeah,
Um, it doesn't have to be when characters actually split up, but I guess bonus points if you do pick a
Right, and
moment
it's
that
it's
has
more
that.
likely to happen in a slasher movie where characters actually split up because that's
Yeah, now that we're
what
getting
the
more into the
formula is.
slashers.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I know I talked a lot about the police and stuff, but I'm actually not going to go with them because the spirit of an early 80s slasher, I'm actually going to go with a split up moment
Yeah, they're
and
dumb
I'm going to
kids. I mean, come
go
on.
yeah, I mean they're not kids, but they act like fucking
Yeah, well, to
kids.
me, they're
So,
fucking
we're going to call
kids.
them kids. Yeah. But no, I'm going to go with when TJ and Axel first get down into the mine and everyone splits up.
So when
Like
TJ,
literally
I mean TJ and Axel split up.
um yeah, when they meet the group and they split up or no, I'm sorry, is Axel there? No, I'm
No,
sorry, it's just
no,
TJ.
it's
When
TJ and
TJ meets
Hort.
the group
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Horace, they leave and then they leave. I'm so bad with the character names because they're so forgettable. Who's the
So
guy that
this,
they
so
leave?
TJ, you're talking about when TJ and Horace split up to look for the couple that went off, and they leave Howard with the girls alone.
Yes.
Okay, okay,
Because they literally like did a Scooby Doo, like, all right,
yeah,
team,
yeah.
everyone split up, and
I agree.
they didn't even split up into pairs. Like TJ and Horace literally went on their own. It's
Separately,
like,
they went on set because they work in the mine, so they were saying, "Oh, we know the mine," but they left the
yeah, but
girls and
like,
Howard. They just all split up. Oh, like you got the
but
girls,
like,
we're gonna go.
yeah, that's like I know they're like young strapping lads, but like I'm not splitting up if I'm TJ or Horace and going by myself when I know there's a
First of
killer on
all,
the
we can
loose.
all go
I'm
look
getting
for
the
them together.
fuck out of there.
Right?
No, I'm
We
not
can.
looking for anyone.
No, I'm
First of
not looking
all,
for any. But if
I'm
you're gonna
uh,
look for them, go together.
I get why TJ went down there to get his girl Sarah, his boo.
Right.
Like he's in love with her, but like once you find Sarah, let's go, guys. Like here's the exit. We're getting the fuck out. Like those other people, like sorry, we'll send the cops down for them. Like you
And
know,
like at that point, there's someone down there with a weapon, like killing you off one by one, and they all go off. Like they two of them go off alone. I'm like,
yeah. Yeah, I mean, decisions before that movie, they didn't know there was a killer on the loose, but this was like really the first moment after you get the reveal at the party that people were
right,
dead, where TJ goes down there. TJ tells the group he has confirmation that Harry Warden is back or someone is back killing people.
right.
And not only do they leave the girls alone, but they fucking both go out on their own. They didn't even stay together. Like they should have stayed, at least maybe went in pairs. I don't know.
The
Just
smartest
so
person in that
stupid.
scenario was Howard,
I
who was
know
left
why
with the
they did it
girls.
for the plot
Yeah,
because
yeah,
they were
yeah.
still trying to
Well,
do the who done it with TJ, so they wanted to give a
right.
reason to like get him alone, but like what a
And I know what,
stupid moment.
and I get why those two did it because they're the ones who work down there. But like,
Mhm.
go together. But yeah, they left Howard alone with the
Or like
girls.
even if they sent the girls up with what's his name, Howard?
Howard,
So even if they
Howard.
sent Howard and the girls up the exit while they went and looked, but they like no, stay here for us. Like they're just sitting ducks at that
They
point.
said,
So
"Stay right,
stupid.
Howard, and you two stay right here. We'll be
Yeah.
back."
Yeah. And
Yeah,
I get it. They
definitely.
wanted to be like, oh, why is he making them stay there? Like, is TJ the killer? But like knowing
Right,
he's
right.
not the killer, it's like, dude, you were making such good decisions like up top when you were calling the police and you were like trying to like, coordinate everything, and now you're just being a complete fucking idiot. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
there's
definitely
definitely
my
a never.
moment.
That's literally a never split up moment.
Hmm.
All right, cool. I'm gonna go with a little bit later in the movie when it's of course it's gonna be including Patty because that fucking bitch. Um, every moment with Patty is a never split up moment, but I'm gonna go with when Patty and Sarah and TJ they're like on their way out, and TJ just sends them to go alone the rest of the way and say against the wall go out, and he just leaves. He just goes to investigate randomly instead of just goes
Yeah.
with them. And then after they hear a noise, they instead of keep going like he said, they come back, and that's what causes Patty to die. Which again, so thankful that she dies. But then so they come back instead of just listening to them, and they split up and they don't even listen. So they split up and they just stay in the mine anyway. So it's defeats the purpose of
So
what
which moment are
TJ.
you
I'm gonna
critiquing
go.
the girls for going back and
It's
not
hard.
listening to TJ?
I
Or are you just doing the whole moment in
I'm
general, like both
critiquing that
moments?
whole. It's just like such a bad.
Little two for one?
It's such
Yeah.
a bad like just plan of events,
Yeah.
like the sequence of events that happen. It's like he splits up for them for literally no reason to go
I know.
investigate. Like why go with
Yeah.
them?
Yeah, it's so stupid. This was gonna be my moment. This was my number
Yeah,
2 moment. I only picked the other moment because it was, like, more obvious because he had just found out. Like,
right.
so everything that happens after my moment is fucking
Is
stupid because
all
I
never
would have
split
been
up.
out of there. Yeah, I would have been out of there. So that's why I picked the first moment.
Yeah, so
But
mine,
this one is
yeah,
definitely dumb too.
it's
It's so
they're both
stupid. I
just the
know.
dumbest. Yeah, so I mean, if I have to, the never split up part is when he literally splits up for them and goes
Yeah.
to investigate and tells them to keep going against the wall. But then, 5 seconds later, they hear something and turn around and come
Yeah.
back, and then
You're like, hey,
she gets killed.
TJ.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Especially
my never
Sarah.
split
Like
up. Yeah,
Sarah's like the cool
and she's determined to get
one.
out. She's like, Patty, keep
Yeah.
going, let's keep going. But then once she hears a noise, they turn around right away, and she comes back
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah.
So yeah, TJ's dumb for splitting up from them for literally no reason, and then they're dumb for coming back the second they hear a noise in a mine when with the killer.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are two pretty good moments. That'll be
So
fun.
stupid. I know. But it makes for a fun
Well, that
sequence for sure.
and again, we're calling these moments out, but we love that they're in these movies. That's the whole
Oh
point.
yeah.
We
Well,
love,
that's why.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean that's why we named this podcast
yeah,
"Never Split Up Podcast" because it's one of our favorite subgenres of horror. One and two, they're so fun to like. You
yeah,
know,
exactly.
I think about Randy from Scream when he's watching
Yes.
like
When he's watching
fucking
Jamie Lee
Halloween.
Curtis, like
Yeah,
Jamie
and he's yelling at the TV.
behind you, but
Yeah,
he's
like
really talking to
I love
himself.
you
Okay,
love
we'll get
those
to that.
moments.
We'll
Yeah.
get to that. But
I have very fond memories of in high school, like going over your house, Aunt, with a bunch of our buddies and like watching these slashers, and we're all
right.
yelling at the TV,
Well,
like,
that's
"What are
what I
you
was gonna say.
stupid?" You
These
know?
movies are made for you, like watching at home or going to the theater and being like, "What are you doing?" Like you're supposed to yell at the screen and be like,
Hmm.
"Stupid ass, turn around, get out, don't go in there." You know, that's what these movies are made for, and this movie definitely, obviously, does that as well with these two
Yeah,
moments. So cool. Those are really classic, never split up scenarios that we picked.
yeah. I think those are definitely the two moments where like you'd be yelling at the TV the most. Like, "What are
Yes,
you fucking
yes,
idiots?" Yeah.
yes.
Awesome. So yeah, guys, vote in our poll. It's going to be available right away on Spotify. If you listen on Spotify, we're also going to post it on Twitter and Instagram later in the week. So definitely vote for your. Just I guess which one you think is your favorite, which one you agree
Yeah,
with more,
and comment
and if
if
you
you
have a
have another
different
one.
one,
Yeah, comment.
yeah, if you have a different one, comment. Definitely want to hear from you. But yeah, let's just get it right into our scores. You let me go first for the moment, so why don't you go first for
Okay.
your
Yeah, I forgot about this
overall
part.
score?
This is I forgot about this part that we have to score a
I
movie.
know this one's always this part's always nerve wracking.
Yeah,
Whether I
because
like a
like
movie, don't like a movie, it's so much like
I
pressure.
know.
I feel like.
So going off of everything we've discussed throughout, this is one of the better '80s slashers in my opinion. You know, not doesn't compare to Friday the 13th or some of the Halloween sequels, but it's up there, and a lot of it has to do with the minor
Mhm.
and the whodunit of
The
it
set
all.
piece,
Yeah,
yeah,
the
that's it.
minor and the
Yeah,
whodunit of the all for me. The characters are horrible, but that's the fun of it too. You know, this is definitely took a page out of Friday the 13th book with the characters. So, I don't think that the minor gets enough love. I'm gonna give him a little love. I'm gonna give it a solid. I'm gonna give it a 6.9.
okay, great.
It's above average for me, slasher. Above average
Hmm.
80s slasher. It's not one of the all time greats or like even a great movie, obviously, but that's a fun, stupid movie with a
Yeah,
cool killer. So 6.9.
okay, there we go. I kind of agree with you. You know, this movie, it's not it's really hard because the characters suck, but like it's different than Friday the 13th for me. I definitely put Friday above this movie, but this movie I have to separate the movie itself to what like I told you, I had like higher expectations of what this movie could have been, but I
Okay.
have to just accept the fact that this is the movie that it is. And the fact that the minor is really cool and the kills are really fun definitely makes this movie better than it's definitely, I guess, stands out, especially for early 80s
Yeah.
slashers.
Yeah.
It's definitely up there. That final scene is creepy as hell. There's definitely
So
things that
good.
I wish Harry Warden was the killer. I'm a big villain guy. I mean, Axel
We
just
love
like
Harry
doing a
Warden.
complete
You love him.
180 on us, like kind of was a little jolting for me. But it was a cool twist. I like the twist,
Yeah,
and that
I
creepy
love the
voice at
twist.
the end is
So
pretty cool too.
effective.
But yeah, you gave it a 6.9.
Yes.
I'm gonna give this a solid 6.6.
Okay. Not
Yeah,
that far off.
6.6. Yeah, so that puts it like two-thirds of the way up. I'm like,
Yeah, it's
66 percentile.
yeah. You can yeah. So
It's
you still
not.
have a fun time popping this one in. You have yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, me
definitely.
too.
Yeah.
And the kills are really good, guys, for 81, and it's a disgrace that they released this without censored like that. So make sure you watch the uncut if you're gonna, you know, go looking for this one.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
without
So
the
we had a good time.
iconic look and the
Yeah, that looked
kills,
yeah
this movie would suffer. But the minor costume, like you said, is
so
so
good,
iconic. It's so
so
cool.
good.
Yeah,
All right,
you're
awesome.
always gonna find that in like a Spirit Halloween every year.
Yeah, they
It's a
should.
pretty.
I'm surprised I don't see more minor outfits, killers like around
I
Halloween.
used to see it a lot more when I was a kid. I feel like those costumes with the pickaxe. I haven't seen
Yeah,
it
I
lately though.
love the pickaxe, man. I love it.
Yeah, it's so cool. I
All
know.
right, cool. So that was the original My Bloody Valentine, just in time for Valentine's Day.
Hmm.
Cool. Yeah, let us know what
Yeah,
you
we
guys
both
think
had a
of the
lot of
movie.
fun
Yeah.
watching it and talking about it. I hope you guys had a good time too. Comment what your never split up moment was. Comment what your favorite kill was. Um, rest in peace, Mabel.
Well, yeah,
Mabel
poor Mabel.
probably probably the most sympathetic character in Victim
And
because
do
she's
not
just so
rest in
innocent
peace,
and sweet.
Patty. Please don't rest in peace.
Yeah,
God, I can't
yeah.
stand her.
I love how we never got any explanation about the original kill, the girl with the heart tattoo. Like they find her heart, but you never like find her
Yeah,
body or
yeah.
anything. Like you don't know who she is. That was kind of funny.
He hid
Did
it
she actually
somewhere in
work
that
in the
rubble down
mine
there.
or
Yeah, I
yeah?
guess. Yeah, or who? Yeah, who the
Just
fuck knows?
stupid, straightforward. Yeah.
We needed an opening kill, man. We needed an opening kill. That's
Hmm.
exactly what that was.
Yeah. So that wraps up my Bloody Valentine. Do you want to announce? You can do the honors for our
Okay.
next
Okay.
episode next week, guys. This is a big one. Hold
All
on to
right.
your
All right.
boots. Is
Yeah.
that the saying?
So,
Hold on to your boots? I don't think that's the saying. But anyway, go ahead.
okay. So yeah. So guys, make sure you let us know what you think about My Bloody Valentine. We really want to get more interaction with you guys. But next week is gonna be a huge, huge,
Yeah.
huge episode, guys. I'm so excited. It's gonna be a big episode, a long episode. I cannot wait to discuss it. We are going to finally start the coverage of this Scream franchise, and we are going to cover the iconic, classic 1996 original Scream. Oh boy. You
Oh
guys, you're not
boy,
going to be able to
indeed.
get me to shut up about this movie, so just be prepared.
Yes. Yeah, I'm glad this episode was a little bit shorter
Yeah.
because it's going to make up for the fact that next week's is going to be a big episode,
It
guys.
is
I
going to
mean,
be a Scream baby.
yeah. I love Scream, but Anthony, this is his baby. He loves Scream.
Yeah,
So
there's
this is
nothing
going to
more
be a good
special to
one.
me in
Yep.
in movies than the Scream franchise, so it's gonna be
Here we
huge.
go. And this is kind of to prepare you guys for Scream 6 comes out
Yes.
March 10th.
So we
Get
have
your
a few
tickets. I
weeks.
think they
Yeah,
are available this Wednesday.
I
They
think
come
yeah,
out.
sometime this week. That's the
I,
rumor. So
I think I
sometime
heard
this week,
Wednesday.
they're
Yeah,
supposedly
so
gonna
get your
come out.
tickets and we have a couple cool episodes planned ahead for around the release of Scream 6. We're going to start with the original, but we have a couple cool episodes coming up as well, right before the release and then right after the release of the new movie, because we definitely want to capitalize on that, and we want you guys to hear our thoughts on the new movie when that comes out. So definitely get your tickets opening weekend if you can. If not, whenever you can, because that's going to be a doozy for us, and the podcast is definitely going to revolve around Scream for a few weeks. I would
As it
say
should.
we're
As it
gonna
should.
have we're gonna have different movies sprinkled in. We're not going to
Right.
like bombard you with all Scream, but we're going to start shifting our focus towards that release now because this is a special one and a special franchise, and I
It's like
can't wait to
one
cover
of,
the
if not
original.
the biggest horror release of the year as well. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Can't wait. Look forward to it. In the meantime, follow us on Instagram and Twitter at neversplituppod. We post a lot of cool stuff there. That's where we post our polls too. And give us a shout out, retweet us or whatever. Let us know what you think of the podcast. Let us know what we could do better. If you have any different moments or movies you want us to cover, definitely let us know.
And
And
YouTube. YouTube, YouTube,
YouTube too.
YouTube.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
about to shout out to YouTube. Try to get on YouTube and subscribe to our channel. We definitely want to get some more subscribers on YouTube. And yeah, that's about it. Any final thoughts, Ant?
No, yeah, just so if you got, I mean, we appreciate you sharing, wherever you with your friends on social media, helps out a lot. And we have a little bit more views than we do subscribers. So if you just can remember to, I know it's annoying, but click that subscribe button after you watch the video. It helps out a lot, and like it if you can, comment. We want to interact a lot too. So let us know what you think about what we have to say about these movies. And check our last, again, another shout out to our episode last week. It was a big one. It was our favorite classic horror villains. So that was a really fun discussion. So if you haven't checked that one out, make sure you check it out. And I cannot wait to talk about Scream next week. Cannot wait.
Mhm. Yeah, we got a couple people, one or two people comment on their favorite classic horror villains, like their lists. We definitely want to hear more of that stuff. So thanks, guys. And it's not too late to let us know what your favorite classic horror villains is. Did we miss anyone? I know I got a couple comments that we missed. A couple people. My cousin, she listened to the episode. She mentioned the kid from Pet Cemetery would have been on her list. So we want to hear stuff like that.
Gage.
We love that. Yeah, Gage. Yeah, that's his name. Thanks. I'm so bad with names. Thanks for picking me up on that. But yeah, we love hearing that from you guys, and definitely want to interact with you more. I know when I listen and watch videos, I'm kind of a lurker myself. I don't like to interact too much, but we definitely encourage it here because we're nice guys, and we want to start bringing some special guests on soon. So look for that too. We're gonna start bringing in some of our friends and family to talk about some episodes. We've mentioned, like I've mentioned, my brother a bunch on this podcast. You've mentioned your family, so we want you guys to kind of get some of their insight. I mean, my brother really formed what I liked in horror, especially as a kid. So maybe when we cover one of his favorite movies, we can have him on the podcast. So that'll be a lot of fun. But
For
yeah, look
sure.
out for that. And until next time, this is the Never Split Up podcast, and we'll see you guys later. Bye.